everyone, this is MoonBoi Cosmic, and today we're going to be redesigning another batch of my old characters today. Today we're going to be redesigning some characters that have a more fantasy theme to them. The first one we're going to be doing today is a rogue cat assassin girl that I initially came up with in, I believe it was middle school. Actually, pretty much every drawing that I'm going to be doing for this little redesign series was pretty much made in either middle school or really early high school. This video is already going to be pretty long, so without wasting any more time, let's just jump right into the first drawing. The first character we're going to be redesigning today is a cat assassin who is like the adoptive sister of the main character. As you can see, I'm using this character as a base for the pose because I really like the pose. For those of you who are wondering, this character, his character's name is Seth, and he's from a game called Under Night in Birth. It's actually a fighting game, and you'll notice that a lot of the other characters here are based off characters from that game. I just really like the game, and Seth looks really cool and like the pose. They both use daggers, so I thought I'd use it as a base. The only thing I remember from this character, like I said before, is that she's supposed to be the adoptive older sister of the main character. And the only other thing I remember is that she was an assassin. Based on the few sketches I could find of her from my bin of old drawings, she seemed to have more of a like bossy and cold, somewhat maybe like ruthless personality. So I wanted to play that up when I was drawing her face, and using Seth's pose was a really big help with that. In the older sketch, you can see here she had like all these belts and stuff on her. If you count, you can actually count 7 different belts on her design. The one that's hanging around her waist, which doesn't even support her pants, and the 6 that she has collectively on her boots. In this new design, I wanted to get rid of all the belts. The only 2 that she really has is the one that she has around her waist, that's surprisingly holding up her pants this time, and the one around her right thigh, which carries a pouch. I also decided to give her this really cool roguelike assassin's cloak, which you'll see more in the final design. Then I just thought it was really cool. I based it off of a poncho and I added it. I made her daggers more curved like and gave it like more of like an actual like kind of design. I'm not the biggest fan of her daggers because I realized that's not what daggers really look like, but I decided to roll with it. When it came to adding the colors, the only color I remember her having is green, so I decided to give her this mint greenish color. I also made her clothes more of like earthy tones, but I thought it was too much green, so I threw in some red in there with the belt around her thigh and her robe. And there you have it, a feline deadly assassin. For a name, I don't really have a name for this character, so I'm going to name her Mint because of the color of her fur. As you can see here, this is her standard outfit and what she looks like when she's wearing her cute little poncho robe thing. But yeah, hope you guys like this one, and we'll be now moving on to the next drawing. Unlike the last character, I actually remember a lot more about this one. This character was a small goblin girl who lacked the natural physical strength that most goblins had in this world. So she makes up for it with magical items. She wears like 2 power gauntlets. She wears like an amulet around her neck for bonus stats. She wears a cape as well as power boots for like jumping and stuff. Regarding her personality, however, she was a very rambunctious goblin. She would get into fights, cause a lot of trouble, but it was all in the name of, doing good. She was all about justice and protecting the weak, kind of like a superhero. I imagine that's why she wore the cape. So initially with her design, I wanted to still keep that, and as you can see here, I'm pretty much doing a good job at being faithful to her original design, but somewhere along the lines here, I ended up not liking this. Maybe it was just the pose, or I couldn't really figure out what to do with her outfit. So I ended up soon just scrapping all of this, coming up with a new idea, and just starting over. This new design or concept that I came up with was going back to her roots of doing something in the name for justice, and in my head that kind of sounded like something that would go good with a more paladin aesthetic, doing something that's righteous, or I guess, holy, in the name of their god or whatever, or bringing justice in their name, whatever that justice may be. So I ended up going with that, and leaning a little bit more into the D&D aspect, I also made her a monk, so she could still retain her core hand-to-hand fighting ability, but I guess have it be more natural, I guess, if that makes sense. But I really liked how I went with the paladin aesthetic, and as you can see here, I even added some like beads on her neck and waist, which was a good substitute for the belt I was going to add in the initial design. And to keep in line with her needing help, I also added magical runes on her beads. And I imagine these runes would enhance her strength and striking power, which would allow her to defeat her enemies a lot faster. And there you have it. As you can see, I changed the colors last minute to make it more coherent, and I like this color scheme a lot better. As for a name, I'm going to call her Mina. Why? Because I think it sounds cute. And so let us move on to the final drawing for today, the main character. I actually remember the day I drew this character, and it was in 9th grade in the beginning of my math class. Someone next to me actually said he looked like Sora at the time, and at that age and at that time I didn't know who Sora was, but I took the compliment nonetheless. The character that I initially drew in 9th grade was meant to be like a kid, so probably around like 13, maybe like 14 years old, but as you can see, I have aged him up significantly, so I imagine he's probably around like 17, about 18 years old in this drawing. In terms of backstory or just, overall story for this character, what I came up with at the time was that he was a young boy who was part of a magical knights guild, and he had inherited a very special and powerful sword from the likes of his father. This sword had the ability to change its shape and properties to mimic whatever magic it absorbed. So if it absorbs fire magic, it would change to a fire sword. Lightning, lightning sword, and his overall goal was to find his dad, you know, generic shonen anime goal. When I was in high school, I was experimenting with a lot of different styles. As you can see here, he got a little bit of a redesign later on, and he was a lot more cartoony. In this style, I was more imagining him in a more Cartoon Network, Steven Universe, Adventure Time kind of show. So as you can see, his features were a lot more simple back then. Also, if you notice with his outfits for the redesign, the one on the right, you can actually see that it's mimicking Hyde's outfit from the Under Night fighting game, and because I just thought his outfit was really cool. The only thing I really did was add a hoodie to it. I'm not a fan of how I did it. Originally I thought like, yeah, this is really cool, I really like this outfit. But later on, I realized that it was literally just Hyde's outfit, so I decided to change it later on. But we'll talk about that later on at the end of the video. I also gave his sword a little bit of a redesign, and when it came to colors, I was originally going to add his bright orange hair, but I decided to tone it down and go for a brown instead. I also added the primary colors for his outfit as a callback to him being called Sora in his early stages, because, you know, Sora wears red, blue, and yellow in his outfit, so I thought I'd do the same here, and I threw in some white to help balance it out, as well as brown for the belts and everything. And here he is. So what do you guys think? Unlike the last two, this one already has a name, and his name is simply just Hiro, spelled H-I-R-O. Overall, I think the design is okay, but again, too similar to Hyde's. And there you have it. That is the batch of characters I'm going to be doing for this episode. But again, like I said earlier, time to talk about Hiro's outfit. I actually disliked it so much, I gave him another redesign. Yes, I redesigned the redesign because I just didn't like it that much. I also decided to redesign his rival character that I found recently in my bin of old drawings, so I'll do him too in the next video. So in the next video, you will see the new redesign of Hiro, his rival, as well as the redesign of his sword, the rival sword, and the different forms Hiro's swords will take in the story. So yeah, look forward to that. As always, please make sure to subscribe, click on the bell for notifications, always leave a like. Also check out my social media in the links down below, and there I will be posting the full resolution pictures of each of these redesigns, and then you'll also get updates for what I'm working on next and little teaser shots and whatnot. But again, thank you for watching this video. It was really fun to draw all these, and thank you so much. This is MoonBoi Cosmic, and I hope you all have a wonderful day today.